Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Website 101 Lunch Bytes. We are the podcast that discusses maintaining and updating and websites for novice and I don't know, all the developers and anyone doing web stuff. I'm as bad as Sean. I think that I also need to start having our little blurb up in front of me.
The thing is that it's just morphing over time. Things we talk
It
about
is.
is like
We just
it's
do
not
more
always
and
beginner.
more.
It's not always
And more and more. Anyway, on the first and third Wednesday of every month, we do this YouTube Live. Thank you for joining us and or watching it later. And we just talk about whatever we feel like talking about.
What's going on for that day, or if there's been anything interesting that we've been struggling with, code related. We talk on anything.
Yeah, not so much struggling. I think we more so use this time to like brag about what's up.
Yeah.
And a lot of complaining.
And a lot of complaining. I think that's just what we do in general, even with each other.
Get off my lawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yes.
The Simpsons.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just in case you didn't catch the reference.
I don't. If our podcast truly is geared towards novice web developers, they 1,000,000,000% do not get that reference.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
hey,
anyone
friends,
got
how are
anything
you?
they wanted to talk about? I'm good. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. Continuing in the vein of complaining about stuff, I wanted to talk about AI in web development and how it's gonna destroy absolutely everything on the planet.
All right.
But if somebody
I can't wait.
else has like a more higher level, not quite so negative or curmudgeonly topic, we can do that first.
Well, sorry, go, Sean.
No, you started first, Mike. You're up.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, something I was thinking I might do is on a previous episode, I tried to explain this issue I was having where I was trying to fit custom content into a matrix field in between the blocks.
Right.
Even back then, it was I couldn't describe it well. We were talking about conditionals. They didn't apply. I thought I'd walk through because I've built it into my own website now, what I was doing. And I was going to show on screen how I handle that now and see how you guys, if you do something different or have any advice.
I would love to see that. Can I comment on
it.
something else that will be like only 1 minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you guys know, I'm a little bit slow business-wise, and I've been putting some time into my photography website. Today I put out a new article, and I was struggling with how to get the best summary to appear on the listing page. And my plan was, I need the summary to be able to fit into the SEO description length. Nah, I give up on that. I just talked to AI. I said, hey, AI, here's my article. Write a summary for me. Also write me another summary that is shorter and fits into the SEO description tag. And I just took both of those after a couple of reiterations. So not code related, but using AI for small little things outside of your skill set is really, really helpful. And this is the kind of things that we could be educating smaller businesses about. Hey, if you're not hiring an SEO professional, here's some basics that you need to know, and then get AI to help you out. And so that's all I wanted to point out, is that I'm not an SEO guy. I'm not a Google Analytics guy, but I needed my description to fit in. And the best way to do that was, I had forgotten what the character limits were. So I even asked AI to tell me to make sure it fits within the requirements.
I think that the most important part of that, though, is that you didn't use AI to write the article. Like, you still used your knowledge and experience and information to actually write the pertinent information. And then, yes, you used AI as a tool to help you with that other part. And I think that's probably the most important takeaway.
Oh, absolutely. And I did also use another friend, a photography friend, to help me edit the article and fine tune it. And Hot tipped Paul. Thanks for that. Anyways, back to Mike. And yeah, I'm really interested in what you've got to share because I do remember that discussion.
Well, Amanda, you mentioned something about AI that you were going to talk about. Did you want to throw that in right now before and do your thing before I do my thing?
I don't care.
Or okay. You do yours, and if there's time left, I'll show you
Okay.
what I'm talking about.
So starting a new project, and it's yes, it's all like the front end stuff, but the client, it's like showing reports. And of course, eventually they're going to want to have like limited reports for different people. So then now we're starting to talk about like a whole user management section and setting up user roles and groups and what permissions they have. And for whatever reason, the client doesn't want to start with a CMS. So that means that all of this stuff I'm going to be hand coding, which is fine and awesome. And I used to do stuff like this all the time. But yes, it's been a minute. And I thought because it was a whole new project starting from scratch, fresh start, whatever, I thought that I would try to utilize AI more than I typically do in projects, just to see how it goes. I have paid for a year of GitHub Copilot. So that's when I'm using it all integrated in with Visual Studio Code. And so I don't want to show everything, but I thought it might be interesting just to go through and show some of the cool things that AI returned and gave me, and some of the times when I got very, very angry at it.
Okay.
So here, I am just going to share the window that is Visual Studio Code. Is it big enough?
Yep.
Can you read it? All right. So first I started with just describing what was up, a new project and dashboard and reports and charts and PHP MySQL, and of course, over the course of days and weeks, asking questions about, this is important to me, best coding practices and how to make sure the user management is secure. These are like my two top things. I've just learned that my dashboard will live in a subdirectory on the staging server at least. So my typical setup of a .env for database info living outside the public folder isn't going to work. There's already a lot of other stuff on that server that I do not want to interfere with. I can do it in the local development environment, but on the server, everything needs to be in public. Are you ready to get started? Hooray. And it was like, I'm ready. Let me first explore what you've already got set up. It explored it all great. I understand, et cetera, et cetera. Key takeaways, et cetera. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So so I started with, even though I can't use a .env, I assume that it makes sense to have a PHP file with the server and database information. Where should that go? Is it possible to have a folder in public that the browser can't access? Excellent question. It's always doing a very good job of like stroking my ego. Excellent question.
Yeah.
Best approach. And use an HP access. So I'm like, great, HP access, that's great. Here's how it works, and here's what I would add in it. And I was like, great. So I changed some information. Smart move. Let me see what you changed. Perfect. This is going to make sense in everything. Do you want me to set it up for you? And I was like, no, I've already done it. And I should have said at this point, never make a change unless I ask you to make it. Because already I know that I've talked about, what was it, that dating app, T, or whatever it was called, that was made with code vibing, that like just leaked all of its information. I've already talked about somebody who used vibe coding to do, I think it was like a bunch of Google Maps API calls. And after the first month, they got a bill for like $30,000 just because of inefficient code and too many API calls, and just increased. I saw on Reddit this week that somebody was using, anti-gravity, and it deleted their entire D drive.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, we need to know what's going on. We can't just give it access, etc. So it's like, great, all of these things and set it up in a solid foundation. But I'm like, wait a second. I can't have any .env. It's a shared server. It's a subdirectory. So wouldn't it be better to have that excluded from the repo? You're absolutely right. So
You're right, Amanda. I was so stupid what I said earlier Why did I tell you that?
Yeah, I love how AI always says, "You are absolutely right. I was
Absolutely.
wrong."
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Not before. Oh God, hold on.
This is a huge, just while you're clearing your throat there, this is a massive conversation. And the fact that this doesn't end well, I'm assuming, must be super frustrating because you put all this work into going back and forth.
So eventually, it does end well, eventually. So then
Okay.
I'm going back to the problem where in the browser, I went to this file, but it's not showing a 404 like you said it would do because of the HT access. It's a blank screen. And it's like, yeah, a blank screen means it's working. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I wanted like a 403 forbidden. And it's like, let me verify and improve. So now it's like it tried to do it again. And it was like, So, and then I just found out this staging server is this version of PHP. Let's make sure we're using that properly because I've seen other issues come up with just different versions of PHP. I'm just trying to go down and find exactly where it was that I first started getting angry at it. I noticed that your database connect is a function instead of making classes. Like, is modern PHP development more functions or is it object-oriented programming? Great question. It should be object-oriented programming. It's like, well, then why didn't you just do that in the
But
first
there's
place?
nuance.
Yeah. So then it starts giving me the code for it. And I'm like, okay, and even better. And it's like, okay. And for your dashboard, I'd recommend using classes. And it's like, then why didn't you just do that in the first place? Like, no wonder people who don't have any development experience are having sites that are garbage. So do you want me to refactor it? And I'm like, yes, make this change. Thanks. Done. Now this is going to work this way. I wanted to make some PHP constants. And should it all be in the database.php or in a separate class? Separate class. So it tells me how to make this like config class. I'm like, great, let's do that. Yes, please do that. And it just keeps going on and on, back and forth.
Jeez.
Do you want me to make this change? Yes, please do that. Great, it's clear now. And then I was like, oh no, I was trying to clean up necessary code and now it's showing me this error and what have I done? And so like it is helping me. I found the issue, defining constants, etc. It's fixed. And now, but it's like it fixed it, but now I'm getting this other warning. So, oh, exactly. It's like it doesn't actually know. It's just literally taking the prompt and it's doing that one thing and it's not looking forward in the head to anything else. I wanted to add an icon. Oh, add an icon. That's nothing.
I want to
About 100 years ago. Sorry?
I want to comment on something you just said.
Go.
It doesn't know. It's just following the prompt.
Yeah.
AI, the I is not intelligence, because if it was intelligent, it would be able to think for itself instead of just
It doesn't.
relying on your prompts. It's like pseudo intelligence.
It's well, I mean,
It's a
quite
computer.
honestly,
It follows
it is
instructions.
a computer. Computers are stupid and will only do things that we tell them to do.
Continue
So
on. Sorry.
thank you. No, good input. So talking about best coding practices, and I mean, so when I ask a very specific question, it's giving me like really detailed, specific information. I like things that are getting set up. Things are great. I like this template system. And so it's showing me how to set that up. It's giving me more errors. So it's like helping me fix stuff, asking specific questions. And then I go back to this like HP access thing and it keeps adding HP access. And it's like, yes, because servers need that. Asking differences about, between classes, class files and config files. So that's all going good as well. Yeah, rename the files. Makes more sense to have like the login form or redirect. So it's like, if I ask very specific questions, it can give me very specific answers. And I think that's the important thing to keep in mind. And then it's starting to be like, oh, do you want me to create the authentication structure? And it's like, no, I want to take this one step at a time. Sounds good. Okay. So it's talking about databases and the structures. We can skip all that. Oh, what's the difference between migration and copying and pasting? So it gives me information about that. yeah, give me the command for the ddev import. Again, I'm not asking it to do this, but like, give me the command so that I can do it. Because when I read in the comment, what I saw on Reddit about how anti-gravity deleted the D directory, one of the comments said that they read in the original posting of this happening or whatever, that the reason that happened was because, again, the developer who was doing this vibe coding was like, oh, I don't really understand step 3. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
And step 3, like, described, go into the directory and delete the node_modules folder, which is a pretty easy thing. Anybody that knows anything about development should be able to handle that. And the fact that they were like, I don't know, you do it. And then suddenly their entire D drive is empty. Like, these are big
one of the things I do when I'm getting a little bit nervous about what AI is going to do is first off, I'll make a commit so that I lock in where I am.
That's
and
smart.
Second, I'll ask it to show me what you want to do, and then I'll approve it. I'll say, yes, that looks good. Please do that. But
yeah.
And sometimes, because I know what I'm asking is really simple, I just let it do what it wants.
Yeah.
But I've often done a commit so I can revert back.
Yeah. So, and then this is where I start to get into it. So I asked it to like make the login form, because whatever, who cares? But it had like all of this like inline CSS that just looked awful, and I was like, just don't add any CSS from now on. Like, just don't. Got it. I'll keep it clean. I think it looks sloppy with the login form, and this is another good example. The login form, like any form, you need to give it action, which is where the form is going to put the data. And because of my experience with content management systems, i.e. Craft, I think it looks sloppy with the login form action going to the same file. I didn't want it to do that. I wanted it to act more like Craft. I know Craft has like a hidden field with the action and would it be possible to do this, or is it over the top? And they're like, absolutely, that's a clean pattern. And again, if that's the clean pattern, why wouldn't you do that in the first place? I told you the very first thing, I was like, best coding practices, and you're not. You're just throwing me the easiest solution possible. So now we have like the actions.php, which is basically just an internal API, which is cool because now I can like check for permissions and things like that. So again, it's like you really just have to watch it. Then I got information about the CSRF tokens to make sure that the form is actually coming from your site and not just data sent from somewhere else. And you should definitely have that. And it's like, again, if you should definitely have it, because I told you best practices, secure, why didn't you add that? Why wasn't it there right from the beginning? Like, I had to specifically ask for it. And a nice little rewrite to take out .php from all of the paths. And they're like, yeah, we'll add it to the HP access. And then I was like, it's not working. Does ddev use Apache? And it's like, let me check your configuration. And no, it's using this other server type operating system. And it's like, and as soon as I read that, I was like, oh yeah, right. I remembered that it did that. So it's not going to work. And instead you need to configure, let me create the proper configuration. And I was like, no. And then it was like, got it. I'm reverting. Let me put all of the PHP extensions back. And it was like, no.
It's like you're arguing with an overeager toddler.
Absolutely. And it's like, I didn't want the PHP put back in. I was going to change ddev to configure to use Apache instead. Got it. Let me revert. And so then it starts reverting everything back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like from now on, just ask before you make any changes. And then I guess that's why going to like one of the class files showed nothing instead of forbidden. Exactly. And it's like, again, if I didn't have the knowledge to ask this information, it wouldn't have done it. It just would have continued fucking everything up. And then when I got to the staging server, which was running Apache instead of this different type of Linux operating system, nothing would have worked. So again, it's just, I think that using AI is better on like asking the opinion. I want this very specifically show me what the code should be, but don't create it. And I've had to like do that a bunch of times, and it just keeps going. Like, look at it. You can see that where the scroll bar is. It just keeps going and
Yeah,
going
Jesus.
and going and going.
Yeah,
It
this
is.
is an
Oh,
insanely long chat.
and this is over like I think I spent 5 hours on Thursday, 5 hours on Friday, and this is the chat that's come out of it. It just keeps going and going and going and going.
You know, sometimes
go
I will start a new chat and to get rid of the old context so that it starts fresh. I don't know that that would work here, but that's what I do sometimes.
Well, I get that, and that makes sense, but it's not new context. Like it's still the same
Yeah.
project.
Yeah, you're right.
You want it to remember.
Yeah,
And-
I have decided that for marking assignments, I'm going to start using the GitHub Copilot to help me like find very specific things. And yes, I'm going to do different chats for each assignment, just so that it doesn't like cross the assignment
Right.
requirements or anything.
Okay, so
but
Bob's assignment
and-
gets one chat, Sally's assignment gets another chat.
oh
yeah.
no, assignment 1 with these requirements gets one
Oh,
chat.
I see.
Assignment
I see.
2 with these different requirements gets a different chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, so again, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Please, everybody watching now and in the future, AI is fine, but use it as a tool. Don't just rely on it because it's gonna do not what you want it to do. And so then therefore, AI is not going to take our jobs away. AI can't do everything. It doesn't know everything. It doesn't understand the requirements. It doesn't know what the project manager asked for. It doesn't know the client's final outcome. It's just going to throw shit out there and see what sticks on the wall. So
It can't do all of that yet.
yet, but I mean, I don't think it ever will.
I think it will.
I do worry though that because currently AI is trained for our coding stuff, it's trained on, Stack Overflow and all this thing where people have been posting their code and open source stuff. If there's more vibe coding being created with garbage, is it going to get trained on the garbage?
Garbage in,
and
garbage
then just
out.
get worse and worse. you know?
Actually,
But
I
again-
recall a few weeks ago I saw something in a podcast where people were talking about because nobody's using Stack Overflow anymore, that is something that is already happening, and I had forgotten about that. But I'm sure that the teams behind these AI agents are are figuring out ways to get it to improve, which is why I say it's not there yet. I don't know if it'll be there in a year or 5 or 10, but I know that AI will take over a good portion of development jobs. Maybe not the highest end jobs, but a business needs a website. I see that AI is
Yeah.
going to do it.
And it's going to do something like that. And it's going to throw up a WordPress site, and there's going to be holes in it, and it's not going to know to update plugins, and it's not going to know about the conflicts. And even with all of these questions, when I asked a very specific question, it could give me the very specific answer. It already has that knowledge. It just,
It's
AI,
able to synthesize it.
but AI is not sitting in on all the meetings. GitHub Copilot is not sitting in on all the meetings. GitHub Copilot doesn't understand that when the project manager is like, oh, cite something like this and shows a URL and then moves their mouse around, we want this part here. Even if you gave the URL to the AI and was like this page, it's going to do the whole page. It's not going to understand the context, is my opinion.
And then
I
we're
find
gonna
it interesting that all the frustration that you're saying that you've been putting out today is something that we've all felt and talked about separately.
Yeah.
And I think it's more and more common that there's this frustration with developers who are more experienced. Like you said, I mean, guilty. I've done vibe coding. I probably will again. But if it's inside an area where I have knowledge, I do get frustrated with the quality of output.
Yeah. Well, and the problem too is that all of these novice developers are going to be relying on AI, which means that they're not going to know to ask the questions. Should it be a function? Should it be a class? They're not going to know, oh, well, what about that token to make sure that the forms are actually coming from my site? All of these things like this, just that sort of not just the knowledge of how the web works is going to be lost because they're just going to rely on this garbage code.
And then our jobs are going to turn into vibe code janitor who comes in and fixes all of the
That's
shit.
when our rate goes up, friend.
I think that's what they call them, vibe code janitors. It's an actual job now. People say, I'll fix your vibe coded app.
I have not heard that before. I was just going to say it sounds like a great blog title. I love vibe code janitor.
Yeah, I think that's real. Okay, well, we've got like 5 minutes left on it. Do you want to wrap it up, or do you want to? Did you still want to see, Sean, my thing?
I'm okay to go overtime because
I'd
I
like to
want to
see
see
it.
what you did.
Okay, I'll go through it quick and see. We'll see what we do
Sorry,
here.
I sucked
No,
up
no,
a lot of time.
I liked it, all of that. That was great.
I can go over one time.
I'm gonna try to share my whole screen and see how this works, because I gotta go back and forth from the browser to hold on, what are you guys seeing right now?
Canadian Pediatric Society. On
And
Be Like
also
Water.
the Riverside window in the bottom corner.
Okay, I wonder if there's a better way to do this. Can you now see the browser and the editor?
And the code. Yep.
Yeah, and you might want to move that little Riverside window somewhere else.
Yeah, well, how do I do
think
that?
Another monitor?
I
Yeah,
think you
there,
can
that's
click on the.
perfect.
I think you can click on the X and it'll go away without actually closing Riverside. I think.
Should I
it.
risk it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Are you
Oh
still there?
no!
Oh, where'd he go?
Mike disappeared into the ether. I say you,
am I
he
gone?
did.
Am I back?
You're still there.
No, you were there. We were just messing
You're
with you.
there.
You guys.
Gotcha.
Okay, whatever. I'll just do this, right?
Mike,
Or does it-
one thing
it-
with your editor, could you zoom in once or twice
Yes.
just to make the text a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
larger?
Yeah, but once I get the windows correctly placed,
Sure.
I will do that.
Yes.
Okay, so
Just
okay,
close. Ah,
okay, I'll just close it. So it was hard to
There
get
you
you guys
go.
back. Okay,
you're here. Yeah.
so here's don't do your own thinking yet. Let me describe what's going on here. So my issue before was, this is my own website, okay? And this is a portfolio piece, like a case study for the Canadian Pediatric Society. And in there, I've got a matrix field called Content Builder right here, right? So let me boost that up, okay? Content Builder. So this is matrix. These are all blocks in the matrix. And the issue I was trying to solve was, what if on one page that has this Content Builder, I want to inject something right here, like right there after the second block, let's say. It's not part of the matrix. And I don't want it to be part of the matrix. I don't want people to be able to add this all over the place, because then they'll put it somewhere else or whatever, right? It's just like
It
a
should
custom
only
thing
be
that
on
only
this
belongs
page.
on this page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here is what I've come up with, which I think is a decent solution. Now, ideally, Craft will put in conditionals where I can make it an actual block in the Content Builder, but then add a conditional that says only include this as an option in this menu on this one page, something like that, or for this particular user, whatever. So this is how I've done it for now. So here's all my blocks for the matrix, and I've added one at the bottom called custom content. Now, if I add that, all it asks me for is a template, right? Now, if I go over here to the editor, all of my matrix, where's my matrix? Yeah, so this is the template that outputs the matrix blocks for this entry, right? It's right here. So it loops through all the blocks in the matrix field, and it finds the handle, like the name of the block, but it prepends the work folder and then this work entry. It's just something I have at the beginning of the thing. So if I go over here to my folders, it's looking in this folder, it's looking for underscore work entry and then double underscore and the name of the matrix block. And here's all of my templates that output the matrix blocks that I have. So if they add a video block, it'll pull in this video template, right? It's a fairly common way to do this. Now I have one here called custom content. right? For that block that I just added. All it does is it looks in the folder called custom content, and it takes the template name that I'm going to type in here, and it appends .twig to it. I've created another folder called custom content, which is here. And here is a template called photo gallery. So like the idea here, the example I'm going to use is, let's say the client wants to add, like inject a photo gallery after the second block, but the photo gallery is not a content block. It's not a matrix block. It doesn't exist. I, as the developer, would go in here, write the code for the photo gallery, which is here, in a template called photo gallery, right? And then when I'm adding the content, so where did I add that yet? I didn't, did I? Custom content, I can write photo gallery.
2 L's.
Thank you. And this is just the name of the template that I've put the code in, right? I would probably put all kinds of code here, like instructions, like, name it after the whatever, after the template or something. So create entry. Now I'll move that up, put it right up after, so it's after the pull quote. Okay, that's where I've put it, and there it is right there. And if I save this and I go over to the page, I'm going to reload. So this is all stuff that's hard coded in there. This is the first block in the matrix field. There's the second block of the quote. And look at that. There's my photo gallery. I have injected it into the matrix field, even though it's not technically a block that's available. I mean, the issue, of course, is admins can see this and they can add it, but I'm counting on it. If someone goes like this, they're not going to go, hey, I wonder what this does, and randomly type some weird thing that's not going to do anything. In fact, I bet I could probably add a condition that says if what they type doesn't exist as a template, then ignore it or something like that. You know what I mean?
It's part of the twig include tag.
What's part of the twig?
There's like a parameter that you can add to that will ignore it if it doesn't exist.
Nice. There you go. Okay. Yeah. So it doesn't throw an error or something.
Yeah. And I mean, that's cool. And I like that you worked this out. Sorry, are we allowed to talk yet?
Well, yeah. So just quickly, this is how I'm doing it now with this, where you can, because like, I like the idea that a client can now look at this and see, oh, there's a photo gallery. When they look at the front end, they say, where's this gallery? Oh, yeah, that's right there. I want to move it one down, where they can do that. Because what I was doing before was something very similar, but without the matrix block. Instead, in this template, I would have a conditional that says, if the index of the loop is 2, meaning if we've hit this one, then output this, and it would just inject it in there, but you couldn't see it on the thing.
Yeah.
And that's not as good, I don't think. But so I kind of like this. I do wish I could hide this, and I probably could with like that, what is it, control panel CSS or something in a certain way. But yeah, now you can talk. I want to know what you guys think of this.
I think it's a cool
I like
solution.
it, but I'm not sure about the use case. Like, I still don't see the use case for it. Like, you're just, why would you have, is the photo gallery a separate template and not actually a matrix block?
Because I don't want them to be able to add this photo gallery on any other page. And a photo gallery is just an example, right? I just created it.
Okay.
It could be like the example that I had in my actual client situation was, I showed you guys offline one time, there was like this diagram that referred to something on that particular page. And it doesn't even make sense to put it on any other page, right? Because it was specifically referring to whatever, their mission or something like that. So it wouldn't belong as part of the content builder that they could add somewhere else. It would just add visual clutter to have, hey, add that thing on another page. You know what I mean?
Okay, now I get it. I think I had forgotten some of the context from the previous conversations. So now I get it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the question, the problem it solves is there might be pages that are made up out of a content builder, but they need custom content that shouldn't exist on any other page. Therefore, it shouldn't be part of the content builder. I know this is part of the content builder technically, but it's so hard to it's hard to know what to do about it, that I don't think a client would sort of try to do it. And from my perspective as a developer, all of my custom content is contained in this little folder over here and their own templates. I think it's pretty cool. What do you guys think? Or put it another way, how would you deal with this problem? Like, if not this, what would you do if you suddenly needed something in the middle of a content builder?
I have a thought, but I'll let Amanda go first.
I think it's a cool solution for your own site because you have access both to the CMS and to the templates. So you can create any custom template as you're doing it. I don't think I would do it for a client site because then I feel it's a little bit limiting. Like they would need to know the exact name of the template and they're going to screw that up. If they're going to decide later that because you've made it this flexible that, oh, we can add custom stuff. Why can't we add this custom stuff? Why can't we add that custom stuff? And it's going to be one of those things that I think that's going to be scope creep, even though it should be additional time put on top of the project. I agree. I think it would be cool if there was some way of Craft added conditionals to each of those content blocks. Especially if many of their community is using the matrix field as a content builder, like what we have all adopted. But I still I think I said this even when you brought it up the first time. Give the client all of the things, and if they fuck it up, they fuck it up.
Which is kind of why I don't mind having that block in there. Like if they say, what's this do? I would just say, that's a way for me to add something that I need to add. You can ignore it, something like that. I would probably
no,
put that in the
I'm
block.
saying I would give them access to just give them the photo gallery, and then they can just add it wherever they want it to be added.
Well, but again, that's one example. Like, I think it's conceivable that you would have a site where you don't want all the same elements available on all the same pages on any page. Not every page should be able to be looked to look the same as any other page. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. But I would still just give it to them.
Okay. So I got a different solution, and I confirmed just now that it would probably work.
Okay.
So in your entry template, outside of the matrix, I would add a new field, and I would make it like an entries field. And I would relate to a separate section that's got these photo gallery or other things that you want, so that they can go and create that photo gallery or whatever they need, and then they relate it. And inside the conditionals, here, I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, please do. Sorry, my dog's having a nightmare here. I got to wake her up.
Puppy.
Okay. I think it's a nightmare. I guess I don't know for sure, but.
Okay, so inside the entry that's going to, the field that's going to pull in the content that you would put outside of the matrix one, you'd set up an entry conditional so that it would show the slug or the entry ID, so that it's only valid for that specific entry. Like you said, you want it only visible for the contact page or the special event or whatever. You know that the slug for it, or does this have ID? Well, it's got slug, so you could just use the slug, which makes it unique.
Yeah, but that's
this is a field.
That's for a field setting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that this is your matrix field right here. Outside of the matrix field, I would add this field that would connect to something else. And then in your templates, you'd set conditional of if this is injected into the second loop index, like you said before.
Yeah. But that loop index thing, I feel, is kind of an inefficient way to do it, because it means I have to add custom conditionals.
Also, if you were going to have a custom content for about and only about, and then a custom content for contact and only for contact, and a custom then you're like creating these multiple fields that are all going to have these different conditionals that all have to be like in the.
It's going to get messy.
That's going to get a bit messy too.
That's why I like the idea that there's a block in my matrix field that is sort of inconspicuous, but I know that all I have to do is add a template with that code, and then the block will put it wherever I need it. I don't have to add any other conditionals. I don't have to do anything at all. I do agree with you, Amanda, that once people start seeing, hey, where's this where's this photo gallery coming from? Oh, I made that custom. Oh, but well, then can you please do this on this other page?
Yeah.
And suddenly it could turn into a big crazy thing. So that's true. I hadn't thought of that.
I almost wonder if both easiest and laziest and currently best solution is again going to be relying on that that plugin where you could add CSS to the control panel. So that in that case you could say that because there's like different specific, when you're editing the entry, there's still specific class names like on body or whatever that have the slug of the entry. So generate the CSS so that when you're editing the about page, if you're not editing the about page, then hide this option from the matrix field, from the matrix select, the matrix block select.
Right. And the thing, if they start saying, hey, this photo gallery or whatever exists on this page, I want it on this other page as well, then that's when you'd say, okay, I'm going to upgrade this to be an actual matrix block that's available on the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. And then in that case, you just need to remove the CSS that's hiding it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Anyway, yeah, okay, well, cool. I'm glad.
Many different selections.
Many ways.
Many different solutions.
Or Pixel and Tonic can add in conditionals to entry types within a matrix block. That would be amazing.
Has anybody officially asked them to do that between the three of us?
No. Between the three of us, maybe not. But
Brandon,
there's no
if
way
you're listening, get on it.
Yeah. I do worry, though, even with that approach, like, isn't there a risk that your matrix field would just become crazy?
It could be
full of stuff that are hidden
you could
on
have
certain pages.
Dozens and dozens of blocks that
things can get out of control and
definitely
difficult to figure out on your own. You'll be needing to talk to AI. Can you please explain how this matrix block is set up?
No, because because it's in the craft control panel, you would have to give AI access to it. And
no, you wouldn't. You would only have to give it access to the project config files because it could figure it all out from there.
It'll start making
Not
changes.
Necessarily a great idea.
It'll break all of the YAML configuration. Nope.
No, I would give it read-only access so it could explain what's going on to me, and then I make the changes.
Yeah.
As I said to you guys the other day in the chat, I got AI to change all of my redactor fields to CKEditor fields using the project config. And I thought it was great, but then I pushed it and it missed a few fields. I mean, it did it, but it just missed some of the places where it was being used, and I had to go in and do it. So
I'm curious why you did it that way rather than just using the simple CLI command that's available.
Because I'm not aware of that command. That's why. What's that command?
I don't know that it. I don't know if it because I've also manually made the change, and I think I could be wrong. I don't know if the CLI command did the migration if it was within a matrix.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that was my issue.
I have done it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that was available. That's cool.
Well, I billed the client all the hours to do it manually, so.
Yeah, right.
I win.
So you tell it, I want all instances of redactor to be changed to CKEditor. That's what this thing does, and it works?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it right now.
Did it? I gotta go. I got a doctor's appointment, but did it also copy over and create all of the custom menus and the classes and stuff? Cool.
Yes.
Good to know.
It's been a while since I did it, but yes, I'm pretty sure that it did. Here it is. There's a converting matrix field section of the documentation, and I will share this on Slack so you can add it to the show notes.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, friends.
Later.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.